Yeah.
Hi there, and welcome to our new vlog podcast, which focuses on the lives of queer women of colour. On this podcast, we'll be talking to queer women from all over the world, women of colour, talking about our joys, our lives, our experiences. My name's Jeanette. I'm from the UK, and I'm a queer woman of colour. I created this podcast because life has been so difficult trying to find like-minded women, colour, and build a community. So we're in the 21st century and let's do it online. On today's episode, the very first one, I have with me a lovely guest by the name of Ailin. Ailin, welcome to the show.
Hi.
How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm excited that you invite me, and I was like, what can I say? But we always have something to say. So
Definitely, you won't be stuck for words, I know.
yeah, like when we already have conversations that can go on and on and on.
So, Ailin, I want to say thank you, first of all, for responding to my call to action. I put the word out. I said, would you be willing to be a guest on this podcast, on this vlog? And you said yes, without a doubt. And so thank you for responding to the call to action. Would you like to just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about where you're from and where you currently live.
Okay. So firstly, it's now like you don't need to say thank you. I mean, I feel it's needed. So this is something that we all need to hear. It's like a great idea. And then about me, I am from Colombia. I was raised there. I'm born and raised, and I moved to I mean, I'm from the north. No, not a lot of people know this part, but it's called Valledupar.
I know that part. I've been through Valledupar.
Yeah, that's one of the first things that we talk about. Like, I can't believe you know this place.
Yeah.
But it is where vallenato is from. I don't know. A lot of people, mainly from Latin America, know this subgenre of music. And yeah, I was born there. I moved around a little bit because my mom is from army, so we were moving around in Colombia. But I was fully like my culture, my customs are mainly from there, and I connect more with that part of the country. And then at 15, I moved to Spain, and it was like a hard pill to swallow because I at the beginning I didn't want to, but here I am. I'm grateful because I realized how lucky I am, to have this opportunity to finish my degree in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, now I'm grateful and I want to give back to the community in a sense. So yeah, that's pretty much where I like a little bit about me, where I'm from, when I come. But I always tell people that I'm from Colombia and that's the place that I wanna die in. That's where I'm gonna, like, my last days are gonna be there. Yes, exactly.
Good, you know more than I do, but you know that. So, how do you identify on the spectrum of queerdom, and what are your pronouns? And how do you identify ethnically and on the spectrum of queerdom?
Okay, so I struggle a bit with this one, with identifying sexually, because at the beginning I thought, I think it happens to other people, I never thought I was gonna like a woman. So for the first instance, I thought I was straight, 100% straight. Then I met my first partner, and they at that time like made me realize that. And currently, I spent like a couple of years, like 5 years, just dating women, and I thought I was lesbian. And currently, by now, I know that I'm bisexual because I don't date women currently, but I'm bi, so. And my pronouns are she, her.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think, yeah, as you say, like it's in the spectrum, and it it's changing. So currently,
Exactly.
I say I'm bi, and I struggle a little bit with that because I didn't want it to say none, but because I didn't want it to disrespect anyone. At the time, I was saying I was bi, but people was like, no, but you're just dating women, so I'm bi.
Yeah, but it's up to you to define yourself as well, however you see, however you feel comfortable. And we don't have to explain ourselves to other people, even though it's quite difficult and so many different things are forced upon us as well.
Also, I think it's like you don't need to neither to identify. You can also stay in that spectrum, because it's sometimes can be hard to, mentally, maybe, because I don't know in other, like, I don't know how other people can see it, because I understand some lesbians, for instance, they don't like when bi women or gay women use these like around words to know, just say what they are. And I understand that feeling. One friend explained me that, but for me, it's like I was struggling with myself, like who I am. So
We've all been through that journey.
exactly.
And some people arrive there a lot easier, a lot earlier, and there's kind of less self-hate, because that's sometimes part of it when you come from a Caribbean background, or it depends on everybody's background. But we all kind of go through the journey of like, who am I? How do I identify? And
Yeah.
and sometimes it changes as well, as you've said. So yeah.
But it's true that it's scary to say the change, like to verbalize the change, because for me it was like I been saying for a long time I was lesbian, like for 5 years, and people who know me at the time, I was like, I'm a lesbian, I'm for sure I'm a lesbian, and then no anymore, and that I can't understand is, yeah, like
Am I
it's
allowed
crazy.
to say that? Can I admit it to myself? Can I admit that to other people around me?
Yeah, it's like I was kind of ashamed, because it's like I know the struggle some people have to even say that word and to accept that word to themselves. And me, when I did it, and I did it so lightly, so freely, even in my social media, I was like, being so open about it. And then suddenly I was like, oh shit, I'm not. Sorry, I don't know if I can say bad
No, no,
words,
no.
but
You
like,
can swear. It's cool. It's okay to swear.
shoot,
We're
I'm
adults.
not. I'm currently at. I realized because I started dating a man. I just started dating a trans man, and I was like, I'm not. So yeah, so it's pretty much the
Thank
story
you.
about it.
So, as a queer woman of color, of Colombian descent, I don't know if you identify as Caribbean, but of Colombian descent, were you
It's,
able?
I'm sorry, I didn't say that before you asked me that, but I define myself as an Afro-Colombian more than Afro-Latina, I guess.
Mhm. Thank you. So Afro-Colombian. Would you say that you felt like it was okay to come out? Were you like, because at one point in time, Colombia as a country had, a deep history of people that were other being, targeted. But I know that you left there and grew up in Spain. But do you kind of feel that history on your shoulders, maybe, or do you feel free because you were in Europe to just, come out and be yourself?
Honestly, I don't. So because I find out this about me here in Europe, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like culturally, my cultural side is gonna affect me
Mm-hmm.
in a way. It was more like my personal life and my family, like the way I was raised, conservative,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the same for everyone in Colombia. It's true that the north, depending where you're from, what part of the country, you are raised in a way. And normally, the people of the north, normally, I'm saying, we are very conservative. So for me, that was my fear, to accept that to myself because of that, but not for my culture, because at that point, I don't know, like I don't know how. I remember this anecdote, you're gonna like it, because I remember I was thinking to myself, there is no way, like people is so open, like people is here, about Colombia. Like I don't think Colombian people is gonna be as open as queer people here, because Colombia. And that was my mindset, my ignorance. And then I went to Colombia, like 3 years later. I went out of the closet, and I was dating women, and I found myself in this environment where it's so open, like people are so open, queerly open. And I was like, oh my god. I remember I went to Bogota, the capital,
Capital
and
cities are always very different, though. Anywhere in any capital city where you go.
yes, but hold your horses, because then I went to my city. I swear, I was like, yeah, but this is most cosmopolitan, a lot more people. No, and even in my small city, my city is small. I don't know how many people there are, but it's like more than a small town than a town.
Mm-hmm.
Than a city. And even there, it was very open. Like people around, like holding hands. And I guess it's because the time has passed, and before I was younger, I didn't think about those things. But responding to your question, I believe if I was in Colombia still, and I didn't move here, I think it will be harder for me because the environment, how I was raised, mainly culturally, because I think I saw a lot of like queer representation when I was growing up. Like we always have, it wasn't portrayed as the best because there were always like these people saying these maricas, you know, the expressions like the F word, and but I always saw this representation. There was always someone. My mom used to have a lesbian friend, and it wasn't weird.
Mom, go mom. But your mum was in the
Yeah,
army, so I would
yeah,
imagine it was quite common to be fair,
yeah.
judgmental.
But it was normal. It wasn't like she's lesbian. You know, they have their business. I think that's also part of my culture. I don't know, maybe I don't want to generalize, but there is this sense of is your business, you know, you do you with your business and just be nice person, just say good morning, just, you know, be culturally like that, like nice. But other than that, we don't think too much. If it's not your son or your daughter, if it's not
Mhm,
part of your
mhm,
family,
mhm,
there is
mhm.
this saying like, I don't care what they do, but if they are part of my family, I don't know, you know, that's
Another
um
story.
yeah, that's another story. But my mom, I remember she was in her time like before she came out with this like, I don't care, but if I don't know with you guys. So um and yeah, for me the most hard thing was to accept to myself because I never thought about it. I never
Because
imagined myself.
yeah, we don't have those conversations, we don't have that representation, we don't have that reality, that perception that you could be anywhere on the spectrum, things could change, and so it's just about kind of being free enough and allowed to be yourself,
Yeah.
which isn't easy. Isn't easy.
Mm.
Thinking about like representation, are there any queer women of colour you think, wow, person is fabulous, or that group or that artist or that person, queer woman of color, is an inspiration? I really like that queer woman. Are there any people that you can think of that come to mind?
Yeah, there's this actress, and you know it's funny because that was the first person I follow on Instagram when I opened my Instagram.
Uh-huh. Who?
um, is the actress, you know, Hunger Games,
No,
the black girl.
don't.
There's
I've not
this,
watched Hunger Games.
well, there is this actress. She's I don't remember her name, but um, she's in the movies. I think if I make this reference, people is gonna understand. But she's in the movies of Hunger Games, the first one, and she's like the younger girl that dies in Katniss' arms.
Mm.
So I don't remember currently her name, but I mean, I didn't know she was queer at that time because we were younger. I think I was her age when I saw her first.
Mm.
But with the time, I found that she was an activist and she was very like she was outspoken and she was talking about like problems in black communities and she's so intelligent. So I think I kind of developed a crush on this woman because I remember I was like I even wanted to be like her or wanted to be with her. I don't know, but it was just weird
Both,
feeling. And
oh, both.
yeah, I think I remember at that time because I didn't know yet that I would like women. I just yeah, one day I saw an interview about her with her talking about activism and she was like my age and she was talking so well and I was like so inspired, you know, like wow, I like this girl. Create my Instagram, follow her first. With
Okay, so
time, we find out she's queer. I mean, I find out and she's open about it. And I was like, you know, like she's the first, like one of the first person I can say I so that from like United States, you know, from America, which is normally what we see. But from Colombia, I'm sad to say I don't have preferences because this is the thing. It took me like for proper years, like proper time to start like wanting to know more about my own like the people in a queer and historical way, you know, black women of Colombia, not of America, because we have been known that for a long time, you know, everywhere. And it was thanks to my first partner uh, that like they kind of put me this like curiosity mindset to me, like you should search more about this. So currently I don't I'm very bad at names, but there might be someone that is like, I read, oh yeah, last year I read that there's this trans woman and she created this house for trans people in Colombia, and they made a movie
Okay.
about issues. A movie, yeah, and the movie was made for like by a very famous director. So it's a very good movie. I couldn't watch it because I didn't find where. I think you need to be in Colombia to watch it, but I read about her and I was like, she's inspiring. But I don't know her name. I feel bad because I should know these names and I always forget names of people.
It's quite
But
difficult when people maybe like aren't in the limelight that often, and maybe only you've read about this person, and maybe one other person, so nobody's like mentioning that person's name to you. It's quite difficult to remember something that we don't hear or see very often.
yeah, that's true because I have this issue where I have read so much theme and mainly about what I like and what I'm passionate about, which is activism, and I know what I read. I know what I like what I wanted. I wanted to talk about. I wanted to like learn about, and I don't remember most of the name. I don't remember like people's name. And it's frustrating because it's like I don't prove that I know. But yeah, just to give you I give a long answer to saying that I don't know the names, but I have in my mind. I have people in. If you show me today, I will say like, yes, I heard about this person, I read about this person, and yeah, sadly to say I don't have names. um
That's cool. It's not a problem. It's like it's if you ask the average person on the street who inspires you, they would probably say somebody who they see regularly on social media or something like that. People. So that's also part of being invisible and being a person of color. It makes it harder to have all that information. Um,
yeah.
Thinking about kind of being a queer woman of color and being in the world of maybe dating, do you feel that that has been an issue? Do you date? Do you consider yourself to date outside of your race? Do you only date X or Y?
Good question though, because I didn't think about it until I realized that I was just dating white women. Like,
Okay.
so you don't think about it until you see it. I think you're like, oh shoot. So for me, it happens. Well, the first person I find out like I would like, and I was attracted to female body. At that time, it was she, white woman. And then it continues like that because I don't know, maybe it's not that I'm only attracted to them. I just felt that I like queer black women or Afro-descendant or like non-white people wasn't attracted to me because I guess I grew up with the mindset, like I don't know, I grew up with this mindset that people is not attracted to me. I don't know. And I thought like maybe because white people have been showing me that they are like they are the ones who approach to me more or talk to me more or like kind of show more interest rather than black women or so in my mindset that was it. But then I date, actually the last woman I date was a Colombian girl. And I don't
Yay!
she I mean I don't know if she precisely defined herself as Afro-Colombian, but she is not a white woman. So
A
I
woman of
yeah.
color. You say that.
Yeah, I cannot say for sure. I think we had this conversation once or twice. I don't know if she just directly told me I am this or I am that, but I saw her as an equal, like a me. It's not that I never saw the other ones as an equal, of course, but that idea of she can understand me better in certain senses, it happens with her.
Where do you
And
feel you're at now? Do you feel like that you recognize that you only dated like white women primarily, and you consciously trying to change that, or not consciously, or like it's not an issue, or is it like a thought for you still?
so currently, because like it's not that I choosing not to date women, starting from there, it's not that I'm choosing it. It's just that Like I don't date women. It just happens like that. It's not that I'm choosing this or that. I just feel like more leaning on dating men.
Mm-hmm.
But the last person, this Colombian girl that I date, I think I was unconsciously thinking I want to date someone like me. I'm in Colombia and I want to date someone like me that looks like me, or at least they understand my culture and it's from, from here. So that was a unconscious way to think, because I don't search for it. It happens in a very beautiful way. Like I met her very, very nice. Like we met in a hostel and she found me on Instagram and it was like normally I was meeting women on Tinder, or in or in a bar, but this way was different. And it's not that I look for that, but it was like my mind kind of called this, because I remember I was in Colombia and I was like, I was using Tinder, and the majority of girls that I was like matching with were white. So and my mom was like, I want to find, you know, and it happens with her. So it was like, okay, like it's not that I search for it, but it happens. So I think it's both ways,
Just like perfect timing, harmony, universe,
yeah, exactly.
harmony. Would you say that you've got like any funny stories dating women or date? Yeah, I mean, you can talk about dating non-women because you identify as queer, as bi, but you can talk about
Oh yeah,
dating experience. So if you've got like a funny dating experience as a queer woman of color, and in
yeah.
particular, kind of color being maybe part of that story or not.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as you say, I'm not only dated women, I also date non-binary and trans people in general. Like, so for me, funny stories. Well, at the beginning, when I was dating this person, I wasn't like 100% sure I like her parts. What I mean with this, because it sounds horrible if I say it like that, but I was like, I don't know if happens with a lot of people, but because it's a new world, even if I have myself, and yet I didn't know myself, I came to know myself thanks to her and thanks to, like, you need to know yourself to know other person's parts, like, yeah, I think that's the logic behind it. Like, you cannot, like, you touch someone as you want to be touched, I guess. Obviously, also asking questions. But yeah, I was completely ignorant. Like, I think I was worse than a man at that time. Like yeah, like where is it? Like it's here. So um yeah, like your nose. So yeah, at the beginning it was very like, what is it? And I was so scared. That's the word, scared of it. So but yeah, that's when the first thing I think it was funny, because I remember she at the time, they were very like, you take your time and go know yourself first. She
And
give
come
me
back
like,
when you're ready.
yeah, like homework, like go and know yourself. No, so don't feel pressure, give you time. What else? I don't know. I think it was a very I remember that time very fondly, because for me I was very open sexually and also in other ways, compared to what I was before that. I grew up, as I say, conservative, sexually repressed, because I thought sex was bad in any shape or form, and women, whatever. And it just opened myself. I was more like healthy in the way of experimenting and like being open, letting people show me and letting people know. So I think in the whole experience was funny, was enjoyable, was but like a point in a specific moment, I don't know what right now. Like I have fun a lot. Like I laugh a lot in so many occasions. I don't know. One time was like, like you get so tired that you think you're gonna die. Like you get so tired, and you're like, come on, help me,
Just get on with it.
yeah, like your hand is like, and you think, and it's like, I'm gonna die here, like you lit. I had in cases of me and the other person, like I think I'm gonna broke my jaw. I'm gonna broke my hand, you know, because we're just going for it, you know, just not to be explicit, but yeah, like there were so many times that it was fun because you're like, this is like to be with a woman, you know, like we want the other person to enjoy it. Like I don't care if I'm gonna stay without a job, you know, at the end of this night. Like you are gonna enjoy this, and I care about your pleasure, you know, I care about you. So yeah. In general, I enjoy it a lot. I don't have like any, obviously we all have experience where you are not 100% happy about it, but overall it was fun. It was great. It gave me so much confidence. And yeah, I cannot point out a specific.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Thinking about dating and socializing and spaces where you feel comfortable, do you feel like you are particularly welcomed? Like, you want to go to queer festivals or queer? I know that we've talked about something off camera, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to go down that route of what we talked about off camera. But for example, in the UK, there's like a big, there used to be a big lesbian festival, but it was predominantly white. And so I went a couple of times, but I didn't feel like it was my space. And I've thought about the Dinah Shore in America, which again, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's like a big, I'm not
No.
sure whether it's classed as lesbian or queer women festival. And like, I'm like, oh, is it going to be like too this or too now too young for me or too white or too? But I think it's attended by lots of women of color. And then, like, I went on a cruise for queer women, Olivia Cruises. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand. And so I don't know whether that define themselves. I can't remember as like for lesbians or for women, or for, I can't remember. But basically, it was a queer space for women. I went on the cruise and I was like, that was a bit whack, and I didn't feel like it was my thing. But there were women of color there, and there were couples and people that were married. Like, do you feel that there are queer spaces that you're maybe attracted to or not attracted to as a woman of color?
That I feel that people like me?
Not necessarily that people like you, but that you maybe want to go to or don't want to go to because you feel like maybe that space is an
Oh.
uncomfortable space for me as a queer woman of color, or or for whatever reason. So spaces that you're attracted to or not attracted or interested in or being part of or not be part of.
Well, at beginning, I didn't see that. I never like have the experience of feeling not welcome or not wanting to go anywhere because I was mainly with this partner, and they were
Sorry,
they
the
are
reception just
they are
broke.
not dead.
So reception just broke. So you were with a partner, and what happened?
Yeah, so going back to when I was dating women in the first 2 years, I was dating or hanging out with this person. They are white, so they introduced me to environments where they were, you know, and her friends or their friends, you know, like their environment became my environment, and it was a very like white or non-white environment, but it was an environment that was their own. So what I mean with this is like I didn't feel like no welcome or that this is not my space. Then when I stopped dating this person, I start like going on my own to new spaces to find new environments, and I start noticing different stuff. So I guess because I have the past to be with a white person, it wasn't as like I'm another one. Like nobody even, I don't know, but like the last time I went to reunion, a queer reunion with people, I felt so out of whack. Like it was in Canary Island, and it was a reunion of queer people. And the first thing, I was the only person of color there,
Okay.
only racialized person. And the girls who were like or the person, I don't remember their pronouns, but the people who were in charge of this conversation, first I didn't like the environment. It was not as welcoming as I expected. The conversations were very like vague or plain, nothing like one of the questions was, what was your first experience? Like, why do we need to talk about that? It's like, yeah, of course, but I know from firsthand, it was weird. Like, I don't know, the environment was weird. And then they were talking, like, two women. I assume they were both like binary people, like they didn't identify as trans. We're talking about trans people in a way that they knew. Like, it was just weird. The whole time I was there, I felt sort of whack. I remember the night was going, people were coming. I still not feeling welcome. I came with a friend, gay guy, and I don't know. I just don't. And I remember I went at the end of the night. I went to the door and I had stayed playing with the dog because I was like, this is like, I don't have nothing to say and nothing to hear that I like here. And I don't know what that happened. I feel it's because, and this is one of the reasons that I wanted you to touch with me, is that I start feeling so like distance with the community because I felt that there was not a rise, like racialized conscious. I don't know if it's the way to say it.
Yeah, racialized consciousness. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like racial consciousness is was, I don't know, like there is not, like maybe one, two people or a couple of people that but if it's a communal thing, it's not implemented community yet. And of course there's people who have this sense, but I don't know why they don't kind of introduce it to a huge, like, important part of it. It's not happening. And maybe I'm living like in a rock, but the last time I went, it wasn't that long. It wasn't. And I understand a lot of people wanting to introduce it lately. Like last year, I was in a group of anti-racism because before I was doing a lot of activism with the community, but I just stopped. I didn't feel as identified because I'm like, I'm a Black woman first, you know. I don't want to put like first, second, but for me it's like that. Like I'm a Black woman
Because
first, and
wherever
then
you go, you can't hide that fact.
I'm a queer woman. That's how I feel. And I guess this can be, like people can say, what the fuck are you saying? She's everything. And you know what, for me. And I don't wanna like explain another way because that's the best way I can explain it. And I see myself how I feel. And the point is that, yeah, responding to your question, at the end it felt like that reason why I distanced myself from the community. And some people is gonna say, no, it's because you just suddenly start dating men. And no, I will stay in these communities if I felt I was welcoming, because at the same time I remember some of the people I was surrounding myself at the time I was dating only women. They were there was this pressure to just say I was this, not
Pressure to what?
directly, but
Pressure to what? Sorry, just repeat that.
just say that I was this, in this
Okay.
sense, lesbian. I don't know. I felt it wasn't that directly, but I have a conversation once with a partner of a flatmate I have, and she was kind of angry with me because she was like, "I don't like when you say you're gay, or I don't like when you say you're bi because you are lesbian. If you are lesbian, just say it." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I don't know yet. I'm not 100%, but yeah, that's the issue we have as a lesbian. A lot of people like they're afraid to say it, and it's like if you feel it and you are, just say it. Don't use gay words. Like, just say it." And it was like a drilling in my head because I was like, okay, I don't want to offend you because you're a lesbian, but I don't know. At the end, I kind of feel the pressure to start using the word when I was not ready.
Yeah, a lot of
I'm
pressure.
not saying it's her. I'm not saying it's her fault or no. I think she just her acknowledge was kind of was too much for me because at that time I was like ignorant in that. So I think her knowledge kind of pressured me thinking that way. But yeah, the community as now, I don't feel as connected. I think I disconnect myself from them, and it's not only because I thought about it. I was like, maybe it's because I'm starting men. It is not. It is not because I feel so deeply connected to the people still that I dated, or to the people that I care a lot, or my, this is gonna sound, I have a great friend, but to my gay friends, so I just, yeah, I don't feel like I'm 100% part of the community until I feel they are. being more open and more giving the importance that Black people have, and giving the importance to Black women and trans Black women. You know, it's like, yes, we are doing stuff, they are doing stuff, but it's not that yet. Like visually, for example, the leaders of these communities
Quite
normally,
superficial and all words maybe.
yeah, I don't know, like the leaders of these communities are normally white women, you know, like, and I don't know, maybe they're the ones taking in charge because there's no one else doing it. But after that, you know, there's this can be this administration and then the representative.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they take this both, you know, administration representative, when you can do, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it depends. I mean, there are different types of spaces. There are like festivals, as I mentioned before, holidays, cruises, political spaces. There are like lots of different environments. But I understand what you're saying. But would you be interested in creating your own space in any of those, or anything else online, or whatever it is? Are you interested in doing that?
Oh, for sure. I remember when I went to Iceland. Oh, this was my, like, my fully gay awakening when I went to Iceland, because I went to Iceland 1 year later. I met with my first partner, and for me, Iceland was like, I was fully like experimenting in knowing everything, like, women wise.
Mm-hmm.
I was using Tinder and meeting a lot of girls, and there I get to know this community of queer women,
Mm-hmm.
exactly like that. So there was this association slash, I don't know how to explain this, but it was like like a type of association where women went to bars to have fun. So they were organizing parties, uh tea reunions or whatever. I remember I went to two of them, with a friend I met in Iceland and that I met on Tinder. And one of the reunions was like a drag queen show, and the only people who was allowed to go were queer women or non-binary. So I was like, wow, this is nice. You know, it was super nice. I like it a lot because it was the first time I saw this and I was experimenting these things. And after that, I was like, in my mind, I need to create this somewhere else because I don't see this anywhere else. And I remember I went to Colombia and I was talking with other girls that I was meeting on Tinder, like, we need to do this, you know, if we implement this in Colombia or here, it's gonna be such a bomb, blah, blah, blah. Or in Granada also, like, because there are communities, there are like women or there are groups, but not like that. It was so organized, like you enter to place and like there was like the one in charge and the people organizing the events, and they're always like retreats, and it was just like a whole thing for, you know, queer women. Love it. It was great, and it gave me the idea to create that. But I every time I wanted to do it, it was like maybe because culturally we are not organized. I don't know.
That's what I was just thinking about. Iceland is a small country. They're quite wealthy, very well organized, like all the Scandinavian countries over there.
Exactly.
And then to
And they
like
know each other more.
they
Yeah.
don't leave, they don't move, they just like they stay there. And so it's like maybe other countries are people have got like so many pressures, so many problems, and unable to kind of commit to things, which is why things like come and go in waves. And so
Yeah.
like that person you were talking about, that's the head and the administrator. When you're saying that maybe they should be separate, maybe no one else can do it because no one else has got the time or the money or the interest, or so they have to like play many different heads, and they're not great at it, and they're not like culturally aware. And but in like Iceland, like this person can do that because they've got a fat job and they've had that job for 10 years, so they can dedicate themselves to like doing that particular role and do it well,
But
maybe.
what I noticed is that it just needs to be one who started it, because I don't know per se how is everything started, but I remember I asked one of them, one of the women who are on like in charge of this association. I don't remember the exactly if it's an association or I don't know. But I remember asking her how everything started, how they came to be.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that it was just it started from this girl, like one of the friends, and she was like, we just started doing reunions for ourselves because you know what we know is like there are no lesbian bars. Like there are just a
All
few
over
of
the
them,
world,
and
they're just dying.
yeah, like all over the world. Lately, because now we know when people is getting the effort to make them. And I know now in Colombia there is a lot of like discotheque that have lesbian nights.
Oh,
Or
really? Because
yeah.
just to interrupt you there was some film directors, I think they were either Australian or American, two queer female directors, and they did like this documentary on the fact that like all lesbian bars and clubs have just like all around the world been closing down, closing down, closing down. I don't
That's
know
the
if
one
you,
that I saw, yeah. But
yeah.
that's like 5-7 years old documentary, if I'm not wrong, if I don't mistaken. But
I don't
currently,
think so. Maybe I think that this one that I saw when I saw them talking, it was like last year they were
yeah.
doing some recording. I think it was
Oh,
like post pandemic.
I'm not sure, but now I know for sure there is like 2-3 places in Colombia, Bogota
Mm-hmm.
per se. I don't know somewhere else, like specifically in Bogota where they have lesbian nights, like not lesbian but women nights,
Mm-hmm.
only women. And I think they might have a discotheque, but I might be wrong. But I know because I follow some accounts, um, and it's just women in those bars, and that's
Fantastic.
exactly, it's fantastic. And I want to go to one of those. I was like, I want to go. Let's go. Yeah, let's go to Colombia.
Yeah,
Let's go.
of course, por supuesto.
But if it's in Colombia, I guess it's somewhere else. I think it's now like a something. I don't think it's per se like a discotheque, but maybe a normal discotheque with implemented nights. They have like different nights. You know what I mean? So maybe it's exactly that, not like a whole completely discotheque where it's just only all the time women. I don't know. Maybe it's still a thing that is now happening because patriarchy and yeah.
So Colombia as
But
a whole, as a queer woman, but there are spaces and it's safe to be a queer woman of color in Colombia, you would say.
I would say in Bogota, yes. I don't know somewhere else, but like also hanging out with the girl, I was hanging out there. Um, there's this whole neighborhood. It's like here in Spain, in Madrid, a whole neighborhood where are just gay people. And also like the mayor of the city, it was a lesbian woman.
Yeah,
So yeah,
married,
so
isn't she? She's married.
yeah, but she was a horrible mayor, she was a horrible person. So I was disappointed. But uh yeah, like apart like as a queer person, they did a lot of things. I have seen, but after I found out she was horrible in other senses, I was like, fuck it, I don't care if you're queer. I mean, I don't feel represented anymore. But yeah, I will say like there is no issue. Like obviously there is hate everywhere, but like personally, there's always news like someone hit someone else in the bus because they saw them kissing or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I cannot tell you this because I don't live there, and I don't want to
When I
speak.
was there, I was part of, because I used to go into Barranquilla, and you've got like the activist group. I can't remember what they're called in Barranquilla, and they used to document a lot of the like hate crimes and the pamphleting and the things that used to go on the
You
Caribbean
see,
coast in in
you
in Barranquilla and that in the Caribbean region. I can't remember what the organisation's called. If you're not familiar with it, I can tell you later on if you're
no. I
interested.
mean, I'm completely ignorant in those subjects about
Okay.
my country because I have never been a queer woman in Colombia.
Okay.
I never experienced that. Like I've went for 2 months and I have my time and I'm enjoyed it, but it was just like a tourist. I
You know,
never
when
experienced.
I
Yeah,
lived in Cienega Magdalena. Are you familiar with Cienega Magdalena?
yes, of course. It's close to my grandma's cities. She's from the Magdalena as well. Um, but like I don't have, and also I don't have anyone to tell me because the few people I find out they were queer, for example, it's classmates or things like that. We don't talk anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. The few people I know are queer currently that I kind of talk to them. They don't live there, so or they come from wealthy families. It's a whole different story. It's
Yeah.
not like the people who live. What I know is that remember that I told you I have representations of gay men.
Mm-hmm.
They were treated like shit. They were always like the joke of the neighborhood because they were like gay men feminine men, and some of them just were dressing as they wanted, and they were going around the street. I won't say I don't know if they were doing certain type of jobs, I don't know. But what I know is that they were always the joke, and they were treated horribly. Also, I heard like there were also some of them were killed, or some of them were treated like hit. And so I'm not saying, like, when I was saying before, like, what I said before was like, yeah, I was surprised that there were like this representation. What I mean is, like, openly gay people, they are a lot more than I thought, because the idea of openly, I didn't think it was a thing. But that is good for them to be openly gay, that's another subject. I don't know, and I don't think so.
Very, very,
And I
very
don't
true.
think so.
So let's
You
kind
know,
of
but
move a little bit from Colombia at the moment, because I know that you
yeah.
kind of maybe spent half of your life or less than half of your life there, or
And
whatever.
I was
But
a child, I didn't think about those things. I was like
yeah, you
innocent.
have question like, what did you think 10 years ago about this? I'm like,
Yeah.
are there any countries that you would specifically go to as a queer woman of colour and feel like maybe in that country I'll be able to find like a place and a space and my people and my community, or countries that you would definitely not go to for the exact same reason? So not there because.
I will definitely go back to Iceland if I was dating, or I was about to marry my wife, because it is so wonderful to be gay there. Like, I
Wow.
follow some girls that I met when I was there those 2 months, and some of them are married, and like their life seems so, I mean, I don't know, I don't live their life, but they seem so easy in that sense, because also, like, it seems very gay friendly. It seems very, like, they have this I don't know, it's like also a small country, but it seems very open, and it seems very friendly in that sense, like law wise as well. Like, there's a lot of laws that defends queer women and queer people in general.
So
So
Iceland, anywhere else?
I went to
That
what I
place
have
is
in my
calling me
mind.
because I feel like there's a community over there, or like I've seen something or I've read something, or I know that maybe I'd feel like
Canary Island was very gay though. Canary
where.
Island was very gay. Canary Island is like very gay. It's like, I think pretty much a lot of people, like everyone, I don't know, I'm gonna be mistaken by this, but like a lot of people is bi and is open as well. Like, they don't care. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, we both lived in the Canary Islands, and that's where we met. But I found different things. So the South, in terms of like as a place that's a gay friendly place and the gay capital of one of the gay capitals of Europe, one of the biggest gay prides. When I went to Gay Pride and I went with two queer people of colour, we went and we felt like the place was quite hostile, and we were like really looking forward to it. And we travelled down from Las Palmas on the coach down to Gay Pride in Maspalomas.
you know what? I think it's just gay for gay men.
And it's not supposed to be, but we were there, and like within the space of an hour we wanted to leave, and we left like just after maybe after an hour, and it wasn't a space that I would want to go back to, and there
Yeah.
are lots of places and spaces that are like that, and I don't want to be in them as a queer woman of color, because I feel like quite hostile, and
I'm sorry, I'm joining. It's
it's
too late,
okay,
but
hopefully I'm
yeah,
not
no, I'm
boring
sorry.
you.
I just find that I realized, oh, I'm being recorded and I'm joining, like, there is no
Yes,
tomorrow. But
is there
no,
anywhere
let me
else?
just, yeah, so just let me go back to Canada. It's true. You made me realize that it's mainly gay friendly for men, for gay men. But yeah, just going back to Iceland, for sure, for women, like, I know that for sure. I mean, and what I see and what I know for people, and this friend that I talk with or used to talk, um, then yeah, I don't know anywhere else. I think I might say England. I don't know. You're from there. I might say England,
Okay.
because it's like huge, and like, it doesn't feel like anyone is gonna be as gonna care. But I don't know anything about law, so I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay with Isa because of the lovely time I spent there.
Well, we've got Black Pride in the UK, to be to be fair, but Black Pride came about because we needed it, because there weren't spaces, because we were excluded, because, you know, the list goes on as to why Black Pride happens in Atlanta, and Black Pride happens because we feel like we need community, we need representation. So it might be like a good time to come when, you know, when Black Pride's happening.
Exactly. And where I don't will go is like, you got me there, because I won't say that. I won't say I don't want to go here.
Okay.
I don't want to say that to any country, because I just don't know. I mean, there are countries where being gay is like punished by law. I know that. But I don't want to give that bad light where they already have it. And hopefully they change that. That's for me the most important thing, you know. Like, I saw this movie, I think you saw it as well. In African country, I remember the name, Rafiki,
I think it's called.
Rafiki.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that movie, and firstly, I knew where I was going on, because I didn't, and I don't know per se where are the countries where it's Spanish. I don't know. And I saw the movie, I was like, I hope this changed, because this was just one story represented in a movie. You imagine like the other millions of story of women of color trying to just love, and they get punished. So I won't say none, because I don't even know where I'm gonna be next year. You know, I'm not gonna. I hopefully where I go, I can love freely, and people as well. So I don't know.
Question: do you feel like now, at this age that you're at, and I didn't even ask you your age, and I don't know whether it's important, but do you feel that you are able to be your authentic self in every space that you go into as a queer woman, as a woman of color, and as a queer woman? Do you feel that you're able to be your authentic self, your full self?
More so as a queer woman, I think it's more normalized, because it's just something that a lot of cultures are fighting for. But as a Black woman, depends. Because culturally, we have so many backlash as a Black woman. Like, you are angry, you are aggressive, I cannot speak my mind. A lot of times I haven't heard that. Last year, I was like, come on, guys, like, stop saying that to me, because I know I'm not. It's just openly, and I'm gonna say what I think. I'm gonna speak my mind.
That stereotype of the angry Black woman, the aggressive Black woman, the dominant Black woman, and that conversation, regardless of sexuality and regardless of sexuality, it's just everywhere. So you could be a queer woman, but not necessarily a Black woman in spaces, is how you feel.
And this might be like, this might sounds like, I don't know. It's not be like trouble for you, or I'm gonna sound like weird.
No. Say it if you want to say it.
Sometimes I feel you can, like, those things can be super, like can be different, because it's like, I don't know how to say this, but when I was being like queer woman, I felt that I didn't needed to think about me being Black. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I have this idea of, sometimes I can put this down, what is obviously no. But like, because I was a queer woman in a queer space, I don't know how to say this, but it's like people like, how you say this word in English? Diminish my Blackness. I don't know how, if this is something that ever happens to you.
Not because it's like, and so I was going to ask you as well, because you would have privileges, a lighter skin, a slimmer, you know, all the features that maybe are more acceptable, being younger, all the rest of it. So it's maybe easier to diminish the color, your color and your culture and your roots, and just see you as a queer woman, and kind of that's it.
That's it, exactly. But for me, it was like, it troubles me, because obviously I know I am talking about, like, in a coloristic way, I have so much privilege than any other person, and I know that, and I can never say otherwise. But at the same time, I struggle with the, like, should I say this? Should I say I'm a Black woman? Because I honestly, and this is gonna sound badly, I think people are gonna hate me for this, but like I never have an issue being a queer woman. If I can super like this, differentiate these two things. Can I just put it? Imagine I'm two peoples. So I lean queer and I black Ailin. So I never have an issue being a queer Ailin. And it blows my mind, Because how? Like I never like I
not, but is it that you're not allowed to be your full black self? Is that what you're saying?
exactly, because it was weird, but and I remember myself, I wasn't as in tune with this part. So I was just focusing on my queer side, and it was a new thing for me. So I was just focused on that. And then with the time, I realized there is so many things I put under the rug. People say no, but you're not black. I put those things under the rug. I was like, how can I leave that to happen? Yeah, like how you are not gonna tell me, and like, and now it's like impossible that ever it's gonna happen to me again because I'm gonna like, you are not gonna tell me who I am.
Yeah.
But because I care more about like being a queer woman and being accepted, now I know, and now I understand that those two things are not separate. Intersectional, they are intersectional. But even for me, it was like the people make it different, and I felt that they were different when they were not. And I was like, and that's why I kind of resent the community a little bit now. I resent the community, and it sounds harsh, but I don't even think to go to a reunion anymore because it's like I have been in so many. I spend more time trying to be in that community that I just stopped doing it, and now my focus is just like anti-racist activism, and I want to be more in those communities than in the queer one. Obviously, if naturally comes, and I ended up being in this where there are both, it's my dream. I'm gonna be as happy as can be. But I don't know. You know what I mean now? Why they are like they feel so different. Have you ever met like a community where it's just anti-racist and also it's like I haven't ever seen like a anti-racist queer community, like in a whole sense, not just a part and a part and a part.
We had a little bit of that in Gran Canaria. I would say there was a little bit of that, but it wasn't. There wasn't enough of it, and it wasn't enough of a community. What I would say, but just moments of that. But
it was. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking for ignorance because I just I remember I said goodbye to them, and I was like, I'm gonna put my aside because I'm not there, and this is from people there, and I hope it's still like that. But I think now they're more focused about their anti-racist part. I don't know. I might be mistaken, and I will ask them. I will ask.
I think so. I've been in through periods when it's been part of not necessarily anti-racist, but definitely the queer side, the black queer experience. I've definitely been in groups there in Birmingham, my hometown, and so experienced that, but not. I don't know whether I necessarily want because I don't know whether I necessarily want to pick up the baton for the anti-racist stuff necessarily within the queer sphere because.
But you know why? You know why it happens?
It's exhausting.
Exactly. It's just too much to handle first. And second, exactly. And second, for me, at least that's what I think. It's just because we're first black women. It's like, that's the first reality. That's the first thing that hit us. So, it's not as important. That's what I say to people sometimes. Like, I'm a bi person. I used to date women, but it's not as important anymore for me.
Okay. So I want to kind of ask you a few more questions. What would you tell your 15-year-old self?
Where are I going to be?
What would you tell your 15-year-old self, maybe who started to question sexuality, maybe started to question the world? Yeah. So your 15-year-old self, your 16-year-old self, your 18-year-old self, what would you say to Ailin, 15 years old?
Relax. Don't rush. Don't. I was so like I was thirsty for experience. I was thirsty for like experiencing everything and anything. Like I remember I wanted to meet more people and I wanted to go out more and I wanted to meet more women and I wanted to meet more. I was like, I felt that I needed to kind of rush when I never did that before. I was so happy to say that I have a very nice childhood in the sense of I live my time. I never rush it. I was the girl that I needed to be, the innocent girl that I needed to be. And then I don't know, at 18, because I saw this culture was so different from mine, and they were so like I don't know, they were very experimented, and I see myself so naive and so innocent at a time where everyone around me wasn't. I rushed. So I remember I rushed my first time. I rushed what we know a first time. I rushed going out. Like I rushed drinking. Rush how it was like it didn't come naturally.
Okay.
You know why?
You
Because
felt
now
the
I don't do
pressure.
it. Yeah, and no, it wasn't the pressure per se. I think yeah, maybe socially, but no someone specifically, and it doesn't come natural to me because I don't do it now. Like I didn't. I was just going out a lot for that social pressure when I know now that it's not me. I get, I don't like to go out and I don't like to drink, and it's not that I hated it, but I remember I was always coming back soon that I expected, tired that I expected, asking myself why I waste that much money. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm naturally like I like it that because there are people who like that and it's their moment, but I never liked it. So I was like always trying to put myself in those situations. The same with like, oh, I started dating women, so I want to know more. So I left my first relationship and I was. I mean, the thing she was. They were like the first person that I kind of say I loved. So after the relationship, I was like, let's go. I can, I can stop
Yeah.
what I'm wasting.
World is your oyster, is what you were thinking.
Yeah, like just let's go. So yeah, I feel like just relax, calm down, take your time, go with the flow. Also, people can see it. Like I feel a lot of people in my past can remember me like as a very, I would say, desperate type of person in the sense of like experience. I was craving all this, like let's do it. Like
But you were immature, maybe didn't know yourself, and maybe wanted to please people by the sounds of things and do things that you wouldn't have wanted to do, is what it sounds like to me. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what it sounds like to me.
it's not that someone, nobody put me in the situations I never wanted to be. No, no, no. It was myself
Yeah.
because I don't know. I wanted to be part. I think it happens to a lot of people. I wanted to be part, and I don't regret anything. But I do. It's just that I feel I didn't go into this in a good pace, and I rushed. For example, I rushed so many relationships that I think they were gonna be wonderful if I didn't rush them. For example,
Yeah,
because
but
of the ecstasy. Yeah.
youth as well, isn't it? That's youth, and when you like, you want to run, you want things to go at 100 miles an hour. But then when you're older, you just like take your time a bit more, and you just like,
Yeah.
I've been here
Exactly.
before, and we'll see how things go. That's the difference of
Exactly.
maturity.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
What
I
would
mean,
you
I don't
say?
regret anything. Yeah.
What would you say? What are you most optimistic about thinking about your future?
Oh, that I'm gonna be in where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm gonna be happy and in love. Like right now, I just like so excited about the future in love because yeah, and I'm excited of like yeah, I can have a community also, the community, the family, and yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be more wise in. Wow, I never precisely thought about it, but I feel it's gonna be good because the Ailin that was like you met me in like between the change, you met me when I was doing the change. You mean this, but the Ailin that was before you met me, and now completely different, which is normal. Like that's what normally happens. So I'm excited because the one that is now is the one that I feel is going to be obviously later. I'm just gonna continue this path. And yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but I'm excited. I'm excited about the future. I see good things.
That's good.
I see
I
good
think
things coming.
maybe we need to do a part 2 at another stage, but I think I'm gonna maybe like tie it up in 2 more questions. Maybe we'll see. So one question is there anything that you wish I would have asked you?
Yeah, like, but because we already answered during the conversation, it was like, what happens that makes me distant myself? But I already answered that to you with the community. And maybe like this, I can ask it to you as well, like what we should do, or what can I do to have this feeling back? Because it's just a feeling, it's a feeling that I don't connect with them anymore, and it's saddened me, it's saddened me for a while. Obviously, it's not that I get over it now, but I don't feel as touched by it anymore. But I do want to, like, if people can give me some advice of how to reconnect with them, and it's just, I don't know if it's because it maybe it will make people think you need to date a girl again, but I don't want to force that either, because it's like it comes from here, and but right now I'm attracted to men, so I cannot do anything about it. I remember I was thinking, what the fuck? So yeah.
Maybe people can give us some answers and put some answers in the comments of where this goes, or maybe that's an option. I think online is a good place to start. I think putting things out in your community, like trying to find like-minded people, go into different places and different spaces. And I know that you kind of have like moved away a little bit from the queer spaces, but occasionally you do find someone in there, and it doesn't mean like we need a lot of people. We just need maybe like 3 or 2 or 1, and then that one leads to another one. And I'm not saying that it's easy, because I'm in like a more difficult situation myself, looking for the same things that you've talked about, looking for love, looking for friends, looking for community. But you're in a big city at the minute, so maybe there are more opportunities of more things going on and more people connect to more bad things, more people with more problems, because that's city life and that's capitals as well. But maybe it's that looking at Meetup online, looking at social media, what's going on. That might be somewhere to start, but also people can put comments in people can answer that question in the comments. A couple of other questions. So do you offer any services? Is there anything that you want to like say about yourself, or that you want people to know about who you are or what you do or what you can do? Do you sell anything? Do you offer anything?
I mean, by now I don't offer anything. I wish I can do that, because I have the sense that I need to give something back to people. But my dream is just, I want to be someone who can speak for others, and I want to do activism. I want to do activism not because I want to talk like I know, but more because I want to learn. That's what I learned about activism. Activism has given me so much knowledge, and I want to continue that. I want to continue knowing, and I want to continue learning, and I want to continue with knowing, doing the right thing. So I want people to offer me like more, I don't know, like talks, and I want to be in environments where I can just suck anything, any information, like
Stimulating
real.
environments.
Yeah, I want to be in an environment where intellectuals, activists, I love to watch these movies or of Black Panthers, and how their environments were, and it's just a dream, because they were surrounded with so many philosophers and like
I wouldn't say it was a dream. I'd say that many of them were killed and died very young.
Of course, not per se the situation they were living in, but like the communities they were creating, that's what I meant. Of course,
Yeah.
I don't want to idealize suffering, but I'm talking about the good parts, the parts where, because obviously these people incentive change, and I'm not afraid of that. If I need to do something for that change and it might put myself in jeopardy, I don't mind. But by now I want to surround myself with people that is gonna, create myself as well, like help me to be this person that I know I can be. And it's just, I don't know, an activist, spokesperson, I don't know, maybe it's a dream.
But it just putting yourself in the space. But I don't like, it's not an easy situation. It's not an easy remedy, but putting it out in the universe is the start. So maybe something will come off the back of this. I hope so. Do you want people to follow you on social media or anything like that? So this would be an opportunity if you wanted to share your social media profile, if you want people to follow you.
Well, I wanna do, one of my, I would say, every year you have this,
New Year's resolutions, is that?
yeah, one of my resolution was to get my activism and my game on point and be more like outspoken and share more and learn more and just give a little bit more knowledge, the one that I get in my social media. So it's not 100%, but I'm gonna get excited if people continue, caring what are the things that I share or a few things that I do, because sometimes I just don't. I just repost something. But yeah, I mean, my personal Instagram is, I should say, right?
If you want to, because it's your Instagram, it's your page. It's if you want people to find you.
It's just because I don't feel I can give as much currently, because I don't have.
That's fine. So maybe you think about it and you tell me afterwards, and I'll put it in the comments if you don't.
Yeah, because
I don't want
I
to put you on
want
the
to.
spot for that.
I want to just truly be like on point on that, because by now I don't feel like doing as much as I would like to. So yeah.
That's cool. I think the last question I'm going to ask you. So I took this from a famous entrepreneur in the UK. He asks his guest, "What would you like me to ask the next guest?"
That's great. So I would love to know, like, if this person have ever, like, so how would it be their life if they were not queer? If they
Their
see
life would be if they
themselves,
weren't queer. Okay.
what if that is even possible to think, like, what type of life they will have, and if it's something that they even think about it, because yeah, I think it's something that some people question themselves, some people don't even question themselves. So
Okay. I'm going to ask that of the next guest. So, Ailin, thank you so much for your openness, your honesty, your giving your heart today, and maybe reminiscing on some things and sharing information. And so, thank you very much for being a guest today.
thank you. I mean, to make me talk, because I can talk, but I can talk a lot, and yeah, I feel that, that you like me to talk.
Well, you're a good guest. You're a very good guest, and you're happy to talk and express yourself. So I just want to say again, thank you for your call to action. And for
Thanks.
anybody else that would like to be a guest on this podcast, this vlog, we are looking at the lives and talking about the lives of queer women of colour, and we're looking at that from an international perspective. So please get in contact if you'd like to be a guest on the show today. Like, share, and drop your comments. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. Oh my Lord.